If the winner of Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira, are they the best 205er in the world? Whoever wins this fight?
In the world?
Yes. Because Corey Anderson over on the other side is talking trash. Nemkov over there is talking trash. You got Jerry still running up. And
I know.
Let's not forget about Adesanya, who's like, yo, fam, like, give me let me eat a couple burgers and I'll be back.
Yeah. I think there's a case to prove that they are the best. The winner of this can certainly say that they are. Yeah. If there's anybody who I think really has a chance to contest it, I think it'd be Jerry, and he's
Hey.
He'll have his opportunity next year.
Yeah.
But if Jan wins, like how can you deny these guys? I mean, these guys have, they've been kicking ass the last year or two. So
I don't think we're on a 5-fight win streak. They're looking nasty doing it too.
I mean, take nothing away from Corey Anderson. You can't take anything away from him.
Who has a win against both guys?
Yeah, so you can't really take nothing away from him. But I mean, he left. You know what I'm saying? Like you was in the organization that at the end of the day, like I don't care what you say, the best fighters in the world are in the UFC. There's great fighters in other organizations, but the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, and that's the only way to prove it. And if you leave, it's the question mark will always be there. Are you better than this guy? So.
And now you shook up the world a little bit when you said, you know what? It ain't 55 in the UFC. It's bantamweight. It's 35. That's the best division. And fam, I could not agree with you more, dude. And then we have an amazing co-main event for an interim belt. And this is the one few times that I actually agree with an interim belt. You got Piotr Jan against Cory Sandhagen. Fam, how do you see this fight going? And talk about this division a little bit.
Man, I love this division, man. It's so deep, it's so stacked, and it's so deep, and everybody right now is still kind of like relevant in terms of like could win a title.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason why I put it ahead of 55, because like 55, like at one time for the longest time it was there. That was the spot, but Khabib cleaned it out so bad. And then left, and then everybody else is gone. Yeah, and all these other guys just kind of like started losing and falling off. That it was like, damn. But like 135 right now, you're still looking at guys and you go, damn. Peter Yan, Cory Sandhagen, Aljamain Sterling,
Rob
Jose
Font.
Aldo, Rob Font. Like these, you know what I'm saying? Like they
ain't even talking about TJ.
And TJ Dillashaw, and to be honest with you, and I was telling somebody this the other day, the most talented guy in the division is probably in the back end of that. And that's Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That division's crazy.
I know. And then you talk about guys like Merab coming up. I said, man, y'all out of your mind. I think 55 is deeper than these guys. But this fight with Cory Sandhagen and Peter Yan is man, it really intrigues me because of the stylistic differences, and I think Cory's movement should give Yan some problems, him switching stances. The only thing is he has to hurt him though, and that's the hard part.
Yes.
Like, cause you can move a lot and keep moving and keep touching the guy, but if you don't ever hurt him, they're going to keep coming, and eventually they'll catch your ass.
Yeah.
So he has to hurt him. He has to hurt him. And Cory's a long-rangey fighter. He does have pop, and it's not just in his knees, his flying knees, but he's really got to do some damage to Peter Yan, and I think he can.
Right.
I think he does put his hands on Peter Yan a little bit, because Peter Yan does really good against guys who just kind of stand there in front of him. Like that fight with Jose Aldo, man, when they were going back and forth. And man, does he have a
and he has that Tiger Muay Thai training too from like oh my god.
Yeah, I mean he's a savage, but I think Cory's movement should give him problems. But
I agree with that.
If Cory doesn't hurt him and he's just moving and trying to stay on the run, that could be an issue.
He come down on you. He's one of those dudes that absolutely starts coming downhill. And it's funny because, like you were saying, like even with Aljo outstruck him in that fight by like 10 strikes. He had more strikes, but it's something about the way Piotr hits you. That dude must have crazy power in that weight class because it looks like, it's like if it's a video game, dude's energy bars every time he lands looks like it drops down big.
Yeah. I mean,
every time.
He's an impressive dude to watch. Like, he's a fun guy to watch. Yeah. And in fact, like, I always tell, like, a lot of it is what he does, man. I always tell people, hey, watch a guy like Petr Yan. Like, he's damn near perfect. Like the way he fights.
Solid.
Yeah, just technically, just always in the right position.
Yeah.
Clean, pat, get back in position. Rarely ever, like, he's great to watch.
Oof, I love watching that dude. And let me ask you this about that division, because I think the elephant in the room is, me personally, I think people are not giving Aljamain Sterling enough credit. Online, I think he's taken a lot of shit from people. I think people are talking trash because obviously the fight didn't go as any champion would want, but I think people are trying to make it seem that he is like a scrub. Are people overlooking how good Aljamain Sterling actually is?
Aljamain is one knee and one round away from being undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe 2 rounds from being undefeated. Like, because his 2 losses were, or he's got 3 losses, right? 2 of them were split decisions.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the Mirage fight, that knee that he ate. So like, other than that, like, he's been like damn near perfect and just great. People are certainly overlooking that. And part of the reason why is MMA people are weird. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, man. And MMA people, it's kind of a good thing though sometimes, because it allows you to not be perfect.
Yeah.
Because they like, MMA people love a little bit of dysfunction. They love to see losers come back. They're like proud of you if you lose and be like, yeah, man, I fought on my shield. They like stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't like when you make excuses.
Nope.
They don't like when they feel like you're trying to cheat to win. They just, it's a very like blue collar mentality where they're just like, man, just go in there with your bootstraps and give it all you got, and we're gonna love you.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of what it is. But when Aljamain went down, instead of being like, when he got the belt, instead of being like, yo, man, you know what? I'll take this belt, but I'm gonna put it on the shelf and I'm gonna fuck you up next time. Instead of doing that, he was trying to like make some excuses. And people
I'm the champion now.
yeah. And people were like, because people would have rolled with him. I think people would have got behind him if he went the other way and was like, yo, man, Petr Yan is an absolute savage. He was kicking my butt. He fouled, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the belt, but we're gonna have to fight for this. Let's do it again. But I think he went the wrong route. I think he went the wrong route because when the pendulum swung in that first direction where everybody was getting on his case, he swung it way back to the other side, and people were just like, screw you. And then they brought it, as opposed to just like kind of leveling off in the middle. Right. He really brought it back too far.
I agree with that. He did started, doing all of his IG and stuff. He was carrying the belt, laughing and dancing with it. Yeah, it probably wasn't a good look. And you're right. The MMA community has by far more trolls than any other community in the world. So you can't go out there like that.
Well, it's just such a passionate sport, right? Like it's something that like everybody wants to identify with a fighter, so they get very passionate about fighters. So like and you control people without exposing your identity. So it's like really easy to troll people that you're, when you're passionate about somebody.
Seriously, no, it was great. Last fight I want to talk about on this card. Obviously, you got Khamzat and Li Jianliang. See, I'm getting my John Anik on. I got it written out phonetically next to me.
Yeah, I do. Right, you got a Y in there, like a Li Yang.
Crossing stuff out, make sure I got it. But that's an interesting fight because it's one of those that I feel like we really still don't know what we have in Khamzat. But Li is a monster that just knocked out Ponzinibbio.
Yeah, I know. But I don't think that's who Li really is, though. I mean, Li's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good. Yeah. But I think he caught Ponzinibbio slipping. Ponzinibbio is a battle-tested fighter who took a shot that wanted to recover from it and couldn't. And if he did recover from it, would have put up a fight, But I think he took that shot. Like, Li hit him hard. clean shot, and it just it's just one of them things. Like he scored a touchdown on him, and then then it was one of them things.
Yeah.
But
and
Lee
he was just
also
coming off of a long injury. I think he was coming off of like 2 years off.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
But Lee is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but he's also the guy that got shut out by Neil Magny.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, he got absolutely shut out by Neil Magny.
Yeah. Neil dragged him. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Neil's greatest performance. Like after that fight, I was like, Neil should be ready for a title. Just the way he beat this guy. And I think a lot of it had to do with Neil's length, his size, and he just couldn't keep up. And Khamzat's not a small guy. He doesn't, he's not a very technical striker, but I think he's gonna knock
his ass out.
Yeah, I think he's gonna knock.
Yeah,
like he's got some power in his hands, man. Like when he hit Gerald
what he did to Gerald Marshart like that.
Yeah, I mean, no,
17.
like, yeah, and like because people are gonna be expecting the takedown, and then when he hits you, and he's reckless when he punches too. So like,
right. Have you seen the training clip of him dropping Alexander Gustafsson in training?
I didn't see that. But I believe,
because he's out there. They got a clip of him dropping Gus. So when I saw him drop Gus, and the only thing I hear about Gus in the training room, obviously he's one of a legend of the sport, obviously. But they say in the training room he is like unstoppable. And the fact that a guy smaller than him was able to drop him, for me, I was like, oh, this dude might for real be the real deal.
Talking about that, man, like he did his rounds in the gyms here in Vegas. Yeah, and people still talking about him. So. Yeah, Khamzat, man, he's a serious contender, man. I would not there's a reason why guys don't want to fight him. Put it that way. There's a reason why. And the only person who's like honest about it is Michael Chiesa. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Michael Chiesa is another one that's one is at the top of his game, but great on the mic, man. He's great doing the analyst stuff. He's awesome.
It's a lot of fun to work with too. A lot of fun to work with.
Another dude on this card and this is the last fight I want to talk about on this card. Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. For me, this is the people's main event in this fight because it is such a great fight. How do you see this one going?
Man, I don't think Hooker is going to be able to keep up with him. Like Makhachev is he's just too busy, too good. His game plan is too solid. Like he's very good at controlling every position. I mean, and I hate
father's plan.
Yeah, and again, but I hate to use the comparison to Khabib but it's really like that. They just go out like the Terminator and just do what they do. And I don't think Dan Hooker's going to be able to keep up. I think the one chance that he has are those knees up the middle that he sneaks up the middle that are pretty. He's really good at sneaking them knees up really high too.
Yeah, he is.
So if he could catch Makhachev with one of them, sneaking one of them knees, he could change the course of the fight, if not win. But other than that, man, like I don't see him. Man, I don't know. The only person I see that matches up well against Makhachev probably is the current champ.
Dude, seriously, that's the only dude. I really believe that.
I don't honestly I think Dustin has a hard time with him. I think Gaethje has a hard time with him. Chandler has a hard time with him.
I think he's huge for the weight class, but not only that, like I see this fight being like, you remember when Khabib finally beat Edson Barboza and all of us were like, oh shit, he's real. Yeah. Right? I can see this fight being that type of win where he just goes in there and just steamrolls him and is talking trash. I need the title shots. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can see it.
It's possible, man. What he did to Drew Dober was crazy. The way he beat up Thiago Moises, who I know who's a fantastic prospect.
He's a killer.
Shut him out.
Moises is a legit killer.
Yeah, and he's shutting these guys out. And again, he's another one. There's a reason why guys don't want to fight him. And it's not necessarily always money. It's just too much risk.
Yeah.
It's too much. They're like, I work too hard for my position. I don't want to give it up to this guy.
Facts. Well, dude, this card itself is stacked. I love it.